Oh, hey there. Have you been thinking of starting your own aquascape? Maybe it's your first one, maybe it's your second, your third, your fourth, or your fifth. Normally, when we're thinking of aquascapes, we start thinking about the fish, we start thinking about the equipment, we start thinking about everything but what size tank we're gonna be scaping in. And personally, I think the size tank truly makes a difference, and I'm here to show you my top 5 favorite size tanks to do any aquascape in. Starting off with Daphnes Tank. This is gonna be my number 5. It's a 55-gallon tank. It's gonna be 4 feet in length. Reason being this is my number 5 is because generally, this was my first tank I ever truly aquascaped, but I quickly realized how important depth of your tank was. So as you can see, this tank is about 1.5 to 2 feet of depth. And when I was trying to put big pieces of stone in, I was trying to make it have a lot of character and depth, I was really, restricted by the overall size of this tank. But if you want more of like a portrait aquascape, kind of like this dragon stone and wood layout, where it goes from large all the way to small, a 55-gallon works great. And the positives of having a 55-gallon is you can put a lot of different sizes of fish in there, different types of fish. You can really play around and you can kind of create a fun little community tank. Coming in at number 4 is going to be a 10 to 15 gallon rectangle tank. It doesn't have to be 10 to 15 gallons. It's just the most commonly found rectangle rimless nano tanks. I believe this tank right here is about a 14-gallon tank, but having the long, narrow space allows you to create really fun aquascapes like the one I did here. This is viewable from every single side. This was my first time ever doing something like this, but having the rectangle, narrow size tank really made it easy because it allowed me just to stretch out this rock structure and create this reef-looking design. Something I also like about rectangle scapes is you can do, the riverbed stream where it has the rocks kind of flowing, and it has that, because it's so long, it allows you to have that water movement feel or vibe. And it's just a really nice tank to aquascape. And if you're looking for a rectangle tank, highly recommend checking out any one of these rimless 14 to 15 gallon rectangle tanks. Coming in at number 3 on my favorite tanks to aquascape is gonna be a 40-gallon breeder. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, oh my God, that's not an aquascaping tank. Well, to me, it really was. This tank right here has been an absolute blast to scape. It's been really easy to fill up with hardscape because it's not so tall, but you can put massive sizes in there because of how wide this tank truly is. And getting light to penetrate your plants is really easy because this tank is not very tall. The reason I put this 40-gallon breeder on my list is realistically, I just have fun anytime I rescape this tank. It's easy, it's a blast, and the canvas that this 40-gallon breeder allows you to have is very open to a lot of different scaping ideas. So if you want something that's really versatile, I highly recommend getting a 40-gallon breeder. Just playing around with it. Not only can you breed fish in it, not only is it a very easy size tank, but you can have a lot of fun with your aquascapes. All right, let me just step down these stairs into the beta tank. Next up on my list of favorite size tanks to aquascape, it's not really gonna be a specific gallon, it's more gonna be a specific size. And I'm talking about cube tanks. Cube tanks are a blast to scape. Generally, you'll find cube tanks in the 10 to 15 gallons. They make them up to 90 gallons and even bigger. But just having a cube tank, there's something about the symmetry of a cube tank. It's really easy to set up. It's really nice for your fish to swim around in. And just look at it. Having a little beta with a beautiful planted aquascape is just something awesome to look at and to have in your collection. Whether you have 1 tanks, 10 tanks, a cube tank will always have a good spot in your heart for an awesome aquascape. And over the years of all of my aquascapes, all of the different tanks I've tried through trial and error, my all-time favorite size tank to aquascape is gonna be the standard 75-gallon 4-foot tank. There is just something about this tank that is so much fun to scape. You have more room than you will ever know what to do with. You will have to buy a lot of hardscape and plants, but I guarantee you the results will blow your mind away. When you actually sit down and plan a big aquascape for a 75-gallon and you pull it off, there is not a better feeling in this hobby. With Anubis Mountain here, this tank is coming up on 2 years old. I took probably a month, if not a little bit longer, sketching out designs, picking out plants, picking out wood, picking out stones. And I took, a week to just sit down and have fun with it. And that process in my heart has been the best aquascaping experience I've ever had, was making Anubis Mountain here. Well, it's time for me to go do some more water changes and get these tanks looking good again. I'll leave you with one question. What other top 5s are you interested in seeing?